Loneliness, silence, anxiety. Too many men are carrying it alone. I'm Jack Starr, powerlifter, personal trainer, aerialist, and ex-private investigator. And this is The Other Side of Tough. We're rewriting manhood one conversation at a time. And today we have entrepreneur, weightlifter, overall great person, and founder of Happy Lifts, Serbrina Koogle. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. You might have heard my dog in the background starting to stir.
Oh, can we see him?
Yes. Hey, buddy. Oh, well. Look
He's
at
not coming up.
There he
Oh,
is.
what's his name?
Bambi.
Oh, well, welcome to the show, buddy. So yeah, I've been following you for about 2 years on social media, and I've seen your growth with Happy Lifts, just from a project to how it's blown up now. And you've got all these challenges, you've got all these online courses, you've been reaching out to schools. So tell us about your journey. How did you get into lifting, and then how did that translate into Happy Lifts?
So I got into lifting during the COVID pandemic. Um, I wanted to lift before. I was in a relationship where he really wanted me to be working out, and I had a lot of anxiety about the gym because of that whole situation.
Yeah.
And so I really struggled with getting consistent. But then I had like a breaking point during the COVID pandemic, and what I consider my weakest day. And after that, I decided I don't want to be weak anymore. I don't want to be weak in my mind or my body. And I started strength training. And when I discovered how life-changing strength training was, and how life-changing getting strong was, it felt like a very natural progression for me to teach my friends. I wanted my circle to like enter into this new strong life that I discovered. And when I started teaching them, I realized, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this. And I started teaching more people after I got my CPT, and that's how Happy Lift started. It really was just something that came from my heart. It's a really mission-driven business for sure.
That's amazing. And what do you see for the future of Happy Lifts? Do you want to expand it? Do you want to, go national with this? Is there an online
Absolutely.
program?
I absolutely want to expand it. I feel like Happy Lifts offers something different than most fitness places. I'm truly trying to teach ladies how to train themselves. And that's something that I believe is kind of missed. I want ladies to feel like they can go and be independent in the things that they're doing in the gym. Take away that anxiety that they feel of, I don't know what to do and I feel kind of lost. I always say we need to look for something that's sustainable. That's so we know this by now. We have to find what's sustainable, and what sustainable isn't always having to pay a trainer, right? As much as I love, people that pay me,
Me
it's
too.
not sustainable for that to happen. And so my goal is to teach them how to navigate their own fitness journey, but through self-love and curiosity in a way that truly is sustainable for the rest of their life, because we have to do this for the rest of their life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one thing that I tell my clients is that we're not doing this to only look good or to for short term, weight loss for that vacation or something. You're doing this so when you are in your 80s that you can actually sit
Mm-hmm.
on the toilet. You can tie your shoes. You can get your own, your clothes on. And strength
Mm-hmm.
training does that. It builds up your joints. It builds up your bones, and it adds 10, 20 years to your life. And so that's really amazing that you're giving that gift of strength to people. Now, one thing, I have a lot of female clients. They come to me because they, like you said about that gym anxiety. And so they come to me because I offer them a private training area that they can train, they can focus, they don't have to be anxious, or embarrassed or anything like that. But one thing that I always get with new female clients is this going to make me bulky? Am I going to be Am I gonna be like? Am I gonna be looking like He-Man after like I lift a couple of weights? So what do you tell? Do you get that first of all?
I do get that question, yes. And
so
I
what
tell
do you
them,
tell your clients?
I tell them that I've been trying to get bulky. I'm still working on it. So they're a few years in. They have to at least be committed for a few years, and then maybe they could start to have that worry.
And you know what I tell a lot of my female clients too is that muscle, like size-wise, is half the size of fat. So it takes up half the size of fat. So when you build up muscle, you're actually getting leaner. You're looking leaner while having the same weight. And that's why I always tell my female clients too. It's like, checking the scale isn't necessarily the best determiner of.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So that's amazing. My question to you is, let me get over here. So what kind of courses do you offer your training? You're doing online courses. What kind of courses are you offering through Happy Lifts? And how do people get a hold of those? How can they connect?
So, people connect with me in different ways.
Okay.
I have a few different, you get your clients that connect with you through other clients. You get with people that connect with you through your social media, through your website. I have like my number posted a few places, so I just get random calls for people connecting with me. My car has like the promotion on the back of it, which I am always considering taking it down. But then as soon as I have that thought, I get a call from someone that saw my car. So
that's cool. That's cool. They
work. So it's good, but also at the same time, it's funny. But for our classes, I teach programs. So I teach a 3-month program, and the program is designed to take a beginner and make them independent in the gym. It's 36 sessions. You come in 3 times a week, and there really is no way that someone can be consistent 3 times a week for 36 sessions and then leave feeling like they don't have a good grasp on the weights and what to do and how to continue on their own. So that's why I love the 3-month program. That's the best rate that I have because that's the one that I believe in the most.
Yeah.
But I also do the same kind of program for a 2-a-week version. And then I have just like monthly lifting. So you could make like a monthly commitment. But in all of my classes, I'm teaching the same thing. I'm teaching the fundamentals of weightlifting, and I'm trying to get the ladies to understand why they're doing what they're doing and how to progress with what they're doing. Something I love about my in-person classes is that I have ladies who have been lifting for 3 years, and then ladies who have been lifting for 3 weeks, and ladies who have been lifting for 3 sessions, right? And so they're all lifting together, and we're all different body types, all different ages, all different experiences, but yet we can look at each other and we can see how we will progress. Right? So you see the different levels. So you could see like, I'm doing this exercise, but I know on a day that I need to make it easier, I can do this exercise. I saw someone else doing this, for the same kind of category. And so that's what I like to call them. I call all of our movement patterns, these are the categories that fits in. And so when one exercise doesn't feel good that day, we have all these other exercises that fit in that same category. And so that's something that I'm teaching in all of my in-person classes. And then my online course, that's still fairly new. I'm only running the pilot course right now. They say like like get it out there and then make it good, right?
Yeah.
Well, I've been working on this for like getting close to 2 years now.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I've been following it. It's been really
yes,
amazing. Like, I've really, I'm really proud of you and your just entrepreneurial spirit and just, your overall positivity in this whole process. Like, you've never given up and you've grown and,
heck
like,
yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah.
heck yeah.
Uh,
So my online class is it's just the pilot class right now, but it's a 12-week course. I wrote a workbook for it that
nice.
has fundamentals of lifting week 1, then week 2 builds on week 1. They all have reflections in them. They all have workouts that have to do with the the fundamentals that we were learning that week, and then each one builds on the last. And it's a 12-week course, and by the end of it you have the knowledge to get you in the gym. And if you've been completing the course the way that you're supposed to, and you would be in the gym. And I believe I haven't completed it yet, but I believe that a beginner can take the course and feel like they can navigate the gym afterwards. So fingers crossed. We're still
Yeah.
working on it, but it's going really well. It's the workbook plus a full online video course, everything. So I'm really excited about it.
That's cool. Yeah, I find, I do the one-on-one personal training, and I find that like the main things that I try to focus on when I first get a client are just those basic movement patterns, like the hinge, the squat,
Mm-hmm.
push, the pull. And when you get someone familiar with those, you can pretty much introduce any lift to them,
Anything. Yep.
be successful without injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's amazing that you're doing that. More women need to take up strength training.
Mm-hmm. I
We need
agree.
women in this society. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to talk to you about. Uh, I I get this complaint from women that a lot of the fear from going to the gym, a lot of the shyness, a lot of whatever comes from men being a little bit unwelcoming in public gyms that make it a little bit intimidating for them. Do you find this at public gyms? And if so, how do you think men public spaces like the gym more welcoming to women?
Um, I would say yes. More men have made me uncomfortable in the gym than women. And I hear this complaint from a lot of the women that I train, is that there was a man in there that made her uncomfortable. I don't think that that's the only thing making women anxious in the gym, but I do realize that like you're in there and it is a male dominated space. Sometimes you look around and there's only one other girl, maybe two other girls in the entire gym. And so that is kind of nerve-wracking. And I really think that every girl would feels differently about it, right?
Yeah.
Like there are some girls that like they like it if a guy is nice to them and says hi to them in the gym. Some girls like that. Some girls don't want anyone to talk to them at all. And so I think that like pay attention to the cues, the body cues, right? If you give a look and she doesn't look back at you, or if she sees you and looks immediately away, then that means don't keep looking over there, right? Give her her space, give her her privacy. And then also, if she looks back at you more than once, then maybe say hello.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Going on that. A lot of men that do go to
But
the
wait, hold on. Pay attention to the face too, because if she looks back at you like that, then don't go say hi. Leave her alone. Go to
that's
the
not
other
a
side of the
welcoming.
gym.
Okay. I'll take that cue. But a lot of men are lonely and they do go to the gym for community. And a lot of times the only social interaction they do get is at the gym. And so they might see their gym crush there, or, a muscle. I hope you don't take the word muscle mommy offensively, because, I think you're one, you're strong, you're, muscular woman. I dated a CrossFit competitor for a while, and I called her muscle mommy, and she was like, "Don't call me muscle mommy." And I was like, okay. She was like, "I don't like to be fetishized." She was like 170 pounds and all muscle. Like, she was like jacked. So I was just like, okay. So I'm always
A muscle
careful.
lady.
Yeah, I'm always careful when I use that term. But let's say, if that lonely guy is, and that's the only interaction he gets, and he sees someone that he has a crush on, and he sees them, how should he approach, or should he approach them? And if so, how? Like, is there a time? You gave some of the cues, like the facial expressions and that sort of thing. I think that's a huge contributor. But is there like a time, or is the gym not the place to do that?
I feel like I want to tread lightly in this area, because I have had friends that want someone to talk to them, and then I know on the other end of the spectrum, I don't want this. And so let's think about like the girls that maybe would like it if you talk to them, right? So maybe you're in there consistently, which I think is a really great way to find community, is go to the gym at the same time every day or every few days, right? Go to the gym at the same exact time. You're going to see all the other regulars there, and then you're a regular, and now you have community. But anyway, maybe you see a girl at the gym, and day after day, you guys are, saying hi to each other, giving a smile. I think that's what it starts with. So like, maybe you say hello, and that's it, right? And so do that for a little while. And so now you've built this consistency in the gym. You're not really like a stranger on the first day going to talk to her, because that for sure is always going to feel a little off,
Yeah,
especially when like if you approach me in the gym on the first day, wanting to take me out or something, I know that the only quality you like about me is the way that I look, because you don't know me, right? And so I think take some time to say hello, maybe like start to exchange some energy passes first, before anything like that.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I want to go on the opposite end too, because in social media, because of reaction to like creepy guys or whatever, we've been seeing the reverse a lot of times with these social media influencers, female social media influencers, especially, like where there's just a guy that looks back at them and they post it on the internet. Do you think the call out has gotten too far, or do you think this is just a just result from guys being over, zealous and maybe a little bit creepy in the gym?
I think that unfortunately, men have kind of done this, and it's unfortunate for the ones that are like good and kind, but you have this like this is quite the topic. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but I think that men have made it to where, like, I've had a lot of bad experiences with men. And if I've had enough bad experiences with men, it's going to make me put up kind of like a little bit of a barrier, right? Yeah. And I feel like all women have come across men that they wish that they didn't trust, right? Yeah. I wish I didn't start trusting that person. And so there's going to be a little bit of a wall until you get to know somebody, to break, to build that trust with someone, I think.
Absolutely. And I think that men do it unconsciously too. Like a lot of times, I train a lot of my clients at like Planet Fitness or whatever, and I will like look back, I always scan the gym, and I'll always see that one guy who's not in great shape going up to a woman who's in fantastic shape, giving them lifting advice, mansplaining to them. And you'll see the woman just like sitting there and she's polite. She's like, yeah, great, great. And he's like in there, like telling her how to lift, telling her how that she could do this better. And I'm looking at that guy and I'm like, you should be listening to her. It's you should not be any advice to her the way you look. Do you see that? Do you see that there's, maybe that it isn't so insidious by men? It's more like, that they're just maybe programmed to have like these things like mansplaining or, that they're being intimidating without knowing.
Being intimidating without knowing.
Like, is there things that men do that they might not be aware of that women are aware of? I think that's better.
Let me think. I'm not sure. It's been a second since I've been in the dating world.
Yeah.
And when I was in the dating world, I really had the strictest, most outrageous boundaries because in my previous relationship, I wasn't with a good person,
Yeah.
And so that made me set up these boundaries that really protected me. And really what I think it all boils down to is, one, each individual person, and this goes for like men and women, what makes us what makes these things happen even unknowingly usually is a weakness somewhere in us, a mental weakness, a physical weakness. We see that a lot with like strength training. But when we look at these, like if we're trying to solve any kind of like, why is this happening? Why are men doing this? Or they need to start looking more inward and seeing what is weak here. Like there's something in your mind that is weak. If you feel like you need to go and explain something to someone that probably already gets it, like where's the weakness there? The weakness could be your pride, right? Like you wanna seem more macho, so that's a weakness. The weakness could be
Great point.
the weakness could be like I think even loneliness could be a weakness. I think it could be a weakness. Like you're lonely, so you don't mind going and making someone else uncomfortable. But yet you could work on this loneliness and learn to find happiness in the comfort of your own company. Right? Yeah. And I'm not saying like we need to pick apart every single little thing, right? But every single time it always comes back to what area in my life, what area in my mind needs some strengthening. And when we are the strongest version of ourselves, that's going to reflect to everyone around us. And that's going to make girls want to talk to you because you're a strong person. You're strong and secure in your own self. You're not strong and secure because, these girls like you or whatever, right? You're strong and secure in your own self. And I think that maybe women have started moving away, like not wanting to talk to men or interact with men because you've noticed this like upward trend of women getting in the gym, right? We are on this path of we want to get strong. And so when we are working on ourselves to be strong in our mind, in our body, we don't want to be with somebody that is fully putting their weaknesses on display for us, right? So like the guy that like is nagging you or being persistent or being too creepy in the gym, that's a weak man. And if I'm working on my strength, then I don't want any part of that mental weakness there, because our lust is a mental weakness. And if you don't have that in control, then I don't want any part of that. Does that make sense?
That is like beautiful sense. And like it comes back to me too. Like I started going to the gym because I felt really bad about myself, and I got myself physically strong. I got myself in shape. I lost 30 pounds and all of that, but I was still lacking. And the thing that I was lacking was emotional strength. I was very reactionary. I was very insecure. And, I went through a personal crisis on my 45th birthday. I lost a lot. I went through a lot of traumatic experience, and I felt very vulnerable and very weak emotionally. And what I did was, I said, hey, I went to the gym to make myself strong, and I felt that saved my life, and that gave me a new lease on life. But now I got to take care of the emotional part, and I'm going to therapy. And I go to therapy like every week, and it is built, it's like going to the gym. It builds up your emotional strength.
Yeah.
It finds those weaknesses, those insecurities, and instead of running away from them, turning your back away from them, which men are taught to do. Men are taught to not show weakness, to run away from weakness. What therapy does is it has you confront those weaknesses and integrate it into who you are. And it's made all the change for me. I feel better about myself, and I feel that like I've been attracting friends, just people in general, better people into my life because of that. So I think that's a great piece of advice, that a lot of this toxicity from men come from a source of weakness, whether it's emotional weakness, with lust, or, spiritual weakness or physical weakness. I think that's like a really good point, that a lot of this toxicity, a lot of the problems with men does come from weakness.
Yeah.
With that being said, do you have a male role model that you look up to that attributes strength and attributes the things that are good about masculinity? And what are those attributes that male role model specifically has that you really cherish?
I would say that my male role model has to be my dad, of course. One, yes, my dad strength trains. He's the one who taught me how to bench press. He taught me how to dumbbell bench press because I was getting the dumbbells up really wonky, and that was a core memory for me.
Oh,
But my dad we have 9 children,
mm-hmm.
and
Are you a
dad,
child?
I'm number 7.
Oh, wow. You're
Yeah.
right there.
So my dad raised 9 children, and then the youngest turned 18, and then he got custody of my brother's 4 kids when he wasn't doing well, and my sister's 2 sons when she wasn't doing well. And then now that his youngest was 18, he had a house full of 6 kids under the 2nd grade.
Wow.
And my dad never complained. My dad always just kept working. Now here he is in his 60s, still working, and raising my sister's 2 sons. My brother got his 4 kids back, but one day he was telling me, like, I was over at his house and we were sitting on the couch, and he said, I'm so lucky. I went into the shower today and I stepped on some toys, and I thought to myself, my house has never been without kids. I'm so lucky.
Oh.
And I just feel like that's the sweetest thing to hear from my dad. But I think that an attribute of him that I just love is how much he how much he loves his family, how
Mhm.
much he loves God, and like does everything to be the godly father and the godly husband that he needs to be. He uh he's always get emotional talking about my dad. He's a great guy, but uh I just know that like when I'm married and have kids, I want my spouse to take care of me and my family the way that my dad always took care of our family.
I
So
love I love that. And
mhm.
you do have like a son. What kind of world? If it could be like ideal, right? Like we're have the genie and the lamp, right? And we can say, in an ideal world where men are like great and perfect, what kind of masculinity, what kind of masculine world do you want your son to be in? What kind of positive masculine traits do you want him to exemplify in this world?
I think that, well, first, masculine is just like about our aesthetics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because uh, what people would consider, a masculine, manly trait, women can also portray those same exact kind of things, right? Like we can be leaders, we can be bold, we can be strong. All of those things, women can be those. Um, but I think for my sons, I want to encourage them to get strong, to use every single opportunity in life, every single thing that they go through, to use it as a moment to discover themselves and see how they can grow and get stronger. Um, with all of our like shortcomings, every time that we go through a hard time, if we allow it, we can use that to make us a better person. We can use it
Less.
to make us a stronger person, but only if we allow it to,
Mm.
right? And so when I have kids, if I have some sons, I want them to be truly strong men, emotionally, mentally resilient boys.
Yeah, I love that. Resilience, at least in my journey, I'm 45 years old, has been a big thing. I've made a ton of mistakes in my life, and it's not the mistakes I've made that have identified me. It's how I've survived those mistakes, how I've gotten through them, the lessons that I've
Yeah.
taken from those
Hmm.
mistakes that has made me the man today. And I don't regret any of my mistakes. I don't look back and say, man, like I feel so much shame for that. And I think that's a big issue with men is the shame thing, is that they're not willing to make mistakes. They're not willing to fail big because they don't want to deal with the shame. Uh,
Hmm.
but that is the important lesson is in the failure.
Hmm.
That through lifting, you go ahead and you do a lift and you fail it a lot before you hit that PR.
Yep.
Like when I first started lifting, I couldn't deadlift 315. And it took me months. It took me herniating my back, not knowing what I was doing. But when I got it, it was amazing. And now I've set national records in deadlift. So,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, I think men could take that lesson big is resilience. Um,
Hmm.
it's a great piece of advice
Yeah.
for your
Hmm.
family, if you have one, is to
Yeah.
be resilient and to really just survive and to that's part of it. It's part of the growth experience is to have those mistakes. And I think
Hmm.
a lot of people are raising their children in bubbles and they're not letting them make mistakes. That we're seeing a lot
Hmm.
of like man child, you know,
Hmm.
grown men that are
And
like,
when you're afraid to make mistakes because you're afraid of, the shame that comes with making mistakes, that is a weakness, a mental weakness. That's something that you need to look inside you and say, how can I strengthen this area, this thing that I'm weak in.
Mm-hmm. That's great advice. All right, so what's next for you, and how can we connect with you? Like, I want to know, there's going to be, like, I have all my friends and stuff, and they would probably be really interested in your program. So, like, how can we connect? How can we get people to join your program? How can we get you more successful? Tell us how we reach out to you.
So what's next for Happy Lifts? I'm going to continue working on my online course.
Okay.
And I'm going to continue just growing the community. Right now, since I opened in 2022, I've had the privilege of training over 300 women in person. We've been to schools, we've done community outreaches, we worked at shelters, launched this online program. I just want to keep growing. I would love to eventually move into a building, like a bigger space. Right now we just train in my garage since I started. And so it'd be really nice to move into a building. That's the goal for Happy Lifts right now. But really I want to make strength more accessible to women. I want to give them that little push. I feel like the fitness world is really intimidating. And then you hear all of these like Iron Fitness, right? Like these like scary names, and it doesn't feel very approachable all the time, especially for someone that was like me, coming from not a very great fitness background, pretty sedentary before I started. Also very socially anxious. The fitness world seemed so scary. Yeah. And so a message that I want to give to all the women that have been nervous about getting strong is that the thing about strength training is that there is a gentle place for everybody to start. No matter what level you're at, there's a place where you can start and say, "Oh, that was pretty good. Like that made me feel good." Right? And so many people just don't realize that. They don't get that. And we can build up our tolerance to struggle the same way we build up our muscle. And so that's what I want to encourage women. I want to encourage you to do what you know you need to be doing. The research is out there. The science has said it. We need to build muscle to live a strong, healthy life. Not even just a strong life, to live a healthy life as women. We need to build muscle. And it's scary to start it, but I don't want it to be. I don't want it to have to. I don't want women to be scared to start the way that I was scared to start. And so yeah, that's my little spiel about that.
Happy Lifts.
Say that again.
What's the website that we can check you
out? My website is happylifts.com.
Okay.
Happylifts.com.
And then we can check you out also on Happy Lifts on Instagram.
Happy Lifts on Instagram. My tag is happy.lifts on Instagram.
Awesome. And okay, so this is one thing, I've been following you for like 2 years or whatever, and I've been watching your lifting. You're super strong. And I really think, I just want you to consider this, okay? I think you got a future in powerlifting. I would love to see you compete in powerlifting because you are a strong girl, and I think you could do amazing things out there. Have you ever?
I've been curious what it would be like to actually train with a powerlifting coach, right? Because I've never trained with a powerlifting coach. I've always really just I took my courses and everything, but I really just trained myself in the very beginning. And so I would be curious to see how much stronger could I get? Because you met my friend Janine, right? Yeah. She's so strong. She's teeny tiny, and she's almost as strong as me, but she's so much smaller. Her PRs increased so much just by training with a powerlifting coach. It's so cool to see what it's like working with other professionals,
Yeah. And the thing is, I think why you particularly would like powerlifting is not so much, like the rush of getting on a platform and hitting PRs, lifting big weights, having people cheer for you, but it's the community. I remember like my first powerlifting uh, competition. I didn't even have a coach. I just like did, periodization training and just, just read stuff online and went out for my first meet. And I was like scared, I'm like a doe-eyed, like, sheep with all these huge giants everywhere. But the thing is the community is so welcoming. People are there to help you. People like come up, they're like, is this your first meet? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, come into this bar. This is what you need to do. Like, take a break here. You okay? You good? Like, just take a deep breath. You got this. And like everyone's supporting you. And then like when I went out and hit my lift, like all the competitors were on the side and they're watching me and they're cheering me on. And like at the end of the day, I was like, okay, I'm hooked. Like I'm staying in and I'm doing this. And there's a lot
The
of strong,
community always gets you.
a lot of strong, inspirational women in powerlifting. One that I follow, she's 70 years old and she can deadlift over 400 pounds and she looks amazing. And so it's just a really inspirational community and I've made like a lot of good friends. So like I said, if you ever consider it, look into powerlifting. Hey, if you ever need like a coach or whatever, I can help you out. But something to consider. But for every episode, I like to go ahead and just say one thing that I appreciate about the guest. And one thing that I really appreciate about you is how much you're giving strength back to the community because strength is a gift and how you're empowering women because we need more strong women in society. We need more, women to step up and be strong leaders. And that's what you're encouraging. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I'm really proud of you. And so that's the one thing that I appreciate about you is how you are doing this and you're empowering women in general. So thank you for
Heck
that.
yeah. Heck yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. And so we got all your socials and stuff like that. Is there anything else you want to say before we sign off today?
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Of course.
I know your show is like geared towards men, and so I really appreciate you bringing on me.
Well, that's the point, is that I want to bring female perspective and all kinds of perspective to this crisis where I
Heck yeah.
masculinity because I want to make better men. And I don't think there's a lot of like negative influences out there in the manosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a lot of weakness, like you're talking about, like a lot of puffing out our chest and like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's like the toxicity that stems from weakness. And
Yeah.
that men could really benefit from taking a woman's point of view and seeing through a woman's eyes what they see of men. And I think that can make men better. And I think it can, we need to have that multi dimensional perspective when dealing with this issue because there is an issue. Like young men especially aren't solid in their emotions and they're being violent, they're behaving inappropriately. Like you said, they're being creepy or
Mm-hmm.
intimidating in the gym. And that comes
Mm-hmm.
from a systemic problem with not having good mentors. Like there needs to be more men like your dad out there for men
Mm-hmm.
to look up to. And, thank God that, you were raised by a strong male figure like that, that could give you perspective that, hey, not all men are like this and there are good ones. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
so,
thank you. Thank
yeah,
you for your service then, Jack.
I'm trying, right? Do our best to make the world just a little bit better. Um,
Heck yeah.
but I think we'll sign off with that. I really appreciate your time and I'm going to continue following your progress. And I encourage everyone to go on your website, Happy Lifts. And, if you're a woman out there looking to get strong, this is the woman to do it. She's a really strong, wonderful woman, and she's going to guide you in the right direction. And with that, I'll sign out. That is all for today's episode on The Other Side of Tough. I'm Jack Starr, reminding you that real strength is found on the other side. Catch you next time. Thank you, Serbrina.
Thank you.
Have a good one.